What's up, everybody? I came across this video that I was watching right now, that I watch every once in a while on this channel, which is by this guy Bjorn Andreas Bull Hansen, which is a guy from Norway, by the way. But I give credit where credit is due. So if you see this, greetings to you. It's a nice channel. It's a very kind man. He shares his mind in his videos, and it kind of resonates with me in a lot of ways. And that's not the point. While I'm having lunch here, I was watching this video, and I came across this comment here when I was having a glance in the comment section. And there's this young person that answered, being 20 and at university as it is now, it is hard to express certain opinions without losing friends. And it kind of made me think. I could go on with the comment here. So, instead of buying coffee and sitting inside, why don't we make our own coffee and go for a walk outside? It's kind of because it resonates with the person as well. This video is about going for a hike on a mountain somewhere in Norway, and this guy is sharing his mind and thoughts, etc., etc. But I was seeing this comment, and it immediately, made me think. Because now, at 36 years of age, I turned 36 a couple of weeks ago. I instantly realized, these are, that are, one of those things that are, so irrelevant to me at this point of my life. But it was not irrelevant 15, 16 years ago when I was 20. Because being 20 and being 36 is a whole different ball game. It made me think because I remember myself being very insecure and being very dependent on other people, mother, father, of course, family, but also authoritative figures like teachers and friends of the family and my trainer, my coach, and always this pressure of not disappointing people, of not being the outcast, of not being the special snowflake because they might think something wrong, about me, and I will stay alone and I will be the outcast, I will be the lone guy, etc., etc. And especially in this whole loneliness epidemic that we have right now. I'm not sure if this was a girl or if it's it's a boy. Anyways, either way, it's just a kid in my eyes. Still, first of all, nothing wrong with that. I don't know, positively Macy. I don't know if you see this, probably not. But I was taking this thing as a reference to make a point. And my point is, I'm not very much about giving pieces of advice to people and playing the wise guy or something like that. I don't like that, to be honest, because our lives are so individual, that other people come around and give pieces of advice. I have done so much shit in my life myself that I always feel awkward, giving pieces of advice to somebody, so I try to stay away from that. But these are one of those things that are pretty general, pretty universal to all of us. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. This is one of the probably worst situations or positions you can put yourself in. If you are afraid to express something or to live your life the way you want to live because of other people, because you are afraid to lose friends or to lose colleagues or to lose, a certain prestige or something like that. I know it's a complex question. There are people, that have a job, and if they say the wrong things, we're living in funny times today. They can, or they might lose their job and they might lose their position. It's difficult. I understand that. But when it comes to those, average, everyday relationships, guys, don't overcomplicate life. This is the exact same thing that I wanted to mention. At 36 right now, I can clearly see myself with 50, 60, 70 as an old fart, basically. No disrespect to old people. I'm talking about myself. But I also remember myself when I was young, because recently I got the question of how is it to be almost around 40? Yeah, exactly like that. I can remember how I was 20 like it was, a year ago. But also I can see myself as an old man, pretty clearly at that point. So it's not that far away. I'm pretty much at 50% of my life. And I'm a grown-ass man to understand that pretty soon it's gonna be over. And if I'm happy or lucky enough, it will happen in the circle of my family, of people that I appreciate, love, etc. But it also can happen somewhere in a ditch, in my own, crap or something like that. Pretty pathetic, feeling sorry about myself. I don't know. All I know is we all will be at that moment of our lives. And very soon after, nobody will remember us at all. Nobody will give a flying fart about us, about our lives, everything that we experience, everything that we think is so goddamn important. It doesn't matter, you know, and you probably heard about that before. As I said, it's a whole different ball game when you are 20. And, you know, I would really love if at least some of the younger fellas at 20 would get this message and would at least try to run this thing through their minds. Believe me, it doesn't matter. All of my 20s, per most of the time of my 20s, I was alone. You know, I don't want to give you my life story here because it's relevant, but when I was in my early 20s, it was 21 or at the age of 22, you know, I had to leave Germany where I was raised, where I was growing up. You know, I was born in Russia, but, you know, raised in Germany. And then it kind of played out, you know, for numerous reasons, and we have to leave the country. And I had a friend, I had only one person that I told about that because, you know, it was complicated. We had to leave the country overnight. You know, nobody would know about that. And that was only one friend of mine, you know, that I thought is my friend. And I didn't want to lose him because we had so many things in common and we shared the most, you know, sacred things with each other. And I left my girlfriend back then. It was a shitty move, but I chose my family over her because I was in a position where I had to choose, and we had to leave the country. And guess what? This dude, who the only person was who knew, you know, what was going on, and who knew how heavy it was emotionally for me, leaving the country, leaving everything behind, leaving, you know, your girl behind it and something like that. She came to him and he, you know, humped her, and, you know, life took over. You don't ever know how people, you know, when they will stab your back, you know, who's real, who's authentic, who's not authentic, you know. And I had numerous positions like this scenario in my life. Just, you know, a couple of years ago, I have a guy that I've known since I was 4 or 5 years old, since kindergarten, you know, and I'm the godfather of his child. I mean, I don't want to talk bad about him in this video or something like that because it doesn't matter. But the point is, you know, over this whole war in the Ukraine thing, when I had to leave Russia again in 2022, we kind of had different opinions. Not that I was supporting some war or something like that. It was quite the opposite. I still don't know where the discrepancy was and where, you know, we were on the wrong side or something like that. But something went wrong, and that's not the point. The point is, he turned away from me and started to say things that friends do not, you know, grown-ass men don't say to each other, you know, based on things that are absolutely irrelevant if it comes to a friendship. So if somebody is your friend, a real friend, not somebody that's using you, but a friend who's cherishing and valuing you as a person, and for whom it is important that you are well and you are fine, and who is celebrating your wins and you doing good in life, and not only being around you while it's fun and while there's something to get advantage of, you know, you don't need those people. And if you act out of the motivation to not, you know, disappoint those people because they might leave you or fall off or something like that, then this is a shitty position to be in. I mean, there's so many things I would tell myself at 20 years old. Probably, if I could only say one thing, it would probably be Bitcoin. But when it comes to life lessons, just be yourself, find your own voice in this life, find yourself in this life, what you value, what you follow, you know, and execute on that. And don't ever think about that what other people, you know, might be disappointed. I know it's a hard thing if you are at university, you have to get there. I don't know, I'm not telling that because, you know, I just want to give pieces of advice out here. Now, I was in a position. Most of my 20s, I was alone. In Germany, I was, you know, the last years when I was staying there, you know, I went to school and I couldn't go there anymore because I was standing for half an hour in front of the school, you know, smoking one cigarette after another. And then I turned away and then went back because, you know, pretending I was in school, but I was wandering around because, you know, until one of those days they kicked me from that school because I couldn't go there anymore because I couldn't see those faces, those walls, those teachers, none of them. And I was feeling such a huge failure back then, those days. And now I remember that, you know, back then, you know, that was years after those events when I was waking up in the morning, you know, in sweat and because I had this nightmare that, you know, I was late to math classes or to some tests we're having or something like that because I was failing again. And now I look back and it's so fucking irrelevant for me now. If I had the opportunity going back to the time, I would, leave school much earlier, because it didn't make any freaking difference to me. It was all just suffering and, awkward kind of, labeling of yourself as a failure, because it doesn't matter anything. And I'm not telling you what to do with university, or God forbid, with your career choices whatsoever. But in the case of this losing friends argument, don't ever be afraid to lose anybody, because you will lose them anyway if they're fake ass rats and not friends in the first place. And this is one of those things which the whole argument is about. We have no friends today. We call friends people that are just digits on our Instagram account or something. These are not friends. Friends is somebody, who will almost like sacrifice themselves for you, because you are important to them, not your position, not because it's fun to hang around with you, because you can get advantages, of you, or some of the resources you have and something like that, but of you as a human being. And if that's not it, then these are not friends. They are just mates. They're just colleagues. They're just people, acquaintances, or whatever the name is, but it's not friends. Real friend is something different. The whole term is watered down today. And that's the whole issue. So maybe it's just a little comment, but I wanted to make a point about that, because I named this channel Authentic for a reason. Be authentic in this life, because you might get or be alone or lonely or whatever, for quite some time. And it's fine. You're not the first, not the last. Or I've been a lot of people on this planet in different ages and time being lonely, and unrightfully put in a place where they were alone for a long time, and they came out, stronger than ever before. But the upside of this whole thing, that's the downside. The upside is, sooner or later, you will come across people, that are authentic and real with you as well. And they will cherish you for who you are and what you are. You won't be afraid of expressing your opinions, whatever they are, around them, because they will accept it. This is what friendship is about. I have people that I respect a lot. I don't know if we're friends or not. At my end, I am a friend. I don't know about them. I can't speak for other people. As I said, I'm 36 years of age. I know people change. I know people are not always what they pretend to be. But anyways, I can only speak for myself. And they might have opinions that I don't agree with. And so what? Says, oh, this asshole, I can't speak to him anymore. Because of what? Because mom told you to not do so, or what? I'm a grown-ass man who will limit me, for that. Obviously, I'm not hanging around people who are, supporting, for war and warmongers or something like that, because there's a lot of them. And it's a whole different topic, as I, faced this whole issue in Russia just a couple of years ago, and it's still going on. Brainwashed people who are watching TV all day. That's a different thing. Opinions about all kinds of matters in life that I don't agree with, that's not a reason for me to not respect those people that I respect for the human beings they are. And it's just the same thing. Again, I want to wrap this up. I want to tell you, don't ever be afraid to express your opinions, to be real and have strong opinions, and to be authentic. Yeah, people will fall off. Some people will avoid you. Some people will, try to not hang around you because it might be, uncomfortable to be around you. But guess what? For sooner or later, you will meet those who will cherish exactly that in you. The realness, the authentic side of you, and not being this, plastic face with the same freaking opinions and the same haircut and the same freaking dumb, dull faces that all have now on social media. Now, where everybody's happy, everybody's perfect, but they're not. And they all have their own crap, and they will all die in the same pathetic way as we all do, because we're human beings. We're literally a little one step above animals, and nobody will remember us. So don't take it that seriously in life, and enjoy.